A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
Welcome in. It is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. See Sparky, Fifer in today. Why? Because Mason Crosby is off this week. And Thunder Nellis is off today and tomorrow. He'll be back on a remote location doing his show on Friday with Tommy Wirtz from noon until 2. Mason Crosby will be back, and his first day back will be on Monday at the 19th annual Toy Drive for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest at Blaine's Farm and Fleet in Oak Creek. So if you are in the area, would love to see you guys down there. Mason will be down there doing his show from noon until 2 on Monday. 9 to noon will be down there as well. No John Kuhn on Monday. It'll be Rami Makaloff, though. And then I'll be out there with Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's every day, Monday through Friday, doing my show from 2 until 5. If you live Green Bay, Wausau, Duluth, Superior, no problem. You can still donate online if you'd like to, wisportsradio.com. Just click on the Toy Drive photo that you see, and then you can donate right there online. There's also a text option as well that we'll be talking about next week. So feel free to donate and help out a great cause for Children's Wisconsin and Robin's Nest. Coming up on today's show, Sojourn Shelton, former Badger cornerback, part of the Money Down podcast. Him and James White and those guys, Warren Herring, do a great job with that with Matt Perkins. He'll join us coming up in about 15 minutes. We'll get Sojourn Shelton's thoughts on this Badgers football team. I had him on Wisconsin Sports Daily a few weeks ago, and obviously, as you could well imagine, not too pleased by what he had been seeing. So now we'll check in because now they've won 2 of 3, and the Badgers all of a sudden in a position to end the season winning 3 of 4 and maybe, just maybe, get a bowl invite at 5-7. Is it a long shot? Yes. The fan base does travel well, I would think, depending on where it's at. And this team going into next year could use all the practices it could get. So we'll see if that ends up happening if they beat PJ Fleck, who I affectionately call the twerp. They beat Fleck this weekend, then all will be right. Bielema and Fleck in the same season you beat. Oh man, I mean, happy Thanksgiving.
And you become the real UW, all in the same year.
Yes.
Like what more could you ask for?
I really hope they beat Minnesota. So Sojourn Shelton coming up at about 12:20. Eli Berkovits from the Packer Report. It's been a minute since I've talked to Eli Berkovits. I know he comes on this show all the time. So we'll talk with Eli Berkovits coming up at 1 o'clock. Get his thoughts on this Packers team and how he feels about it heading into this big Thanksgiving matchup against the Lions. We'll have the Green Bay football postgame show powered by Lakeland University with Tommy Wirtz and myself starting at 3 o'clock on Thanksgiving Day following that one. So make sure to tune in if you would, if you are not tied up with family and everything else, or just put us on in the background. Listen to us in the background as hopefully we're celebrating and having a good time and we're not angry on Thanksgiving. Nobody wants to be angry on Thanksgiving. You know, there are those families that whenever they get together, there ends up being drinking and fighting and arguing and all of that fun stuff. And everybody absolutely just despises the holidays and doesn't want to get together because it never goes well and so forth. And then you have the families that get together and they just have an absolute blast and chill and so forth. Tommy Wirtz, what side of the coin do you
we're pretty chill, I think, for the most part. In a traditional Thanksgiving, if there was no Packer game for you, are you eating when the second game starts, when the first game starts, the nighttime game?
Normally, if it was no Packer game, I would be gone this weekend, and by Kay's mom, so I'd be gone Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and she would cook the whole meal, which would be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And we would eat Normally like 1 o'clock, somewhere in that area.
Yeah.
And I would have up
Traditionally,
the TV loud enough so I could hear it, and then that would drive everybody crazy because I was still listening to the game while we're trying to have a conversation at the table.
Yeah.
But I don't want to miss. So yeah,
I know exactly. I know that feeling way too closely because I'm the same way. I hate it when like the football game's on and there's no sound at the Thanksgiving dinner.
Yes.
I hate that, and I understand.
My mom would make us turn off the TV when I was growing up.
I know exactly the feeling you're going through.
Yes, that is definitely so. So I got to know. We're going to get to the topics, but you're Mr. Keto, so what's it going to be like at Thanksgiving?
I mean,
for you? So that means no potatoes,
right?
No pies.
Yep.
What are you going to eat? Just the turkey?
I'm just gonna breathe in the air of the Thanksgiving dinner.
Stuffing
I don't
either,
even.
right?
Yeah, I know. I'm big.
My goodness!
I know stuffing's like the best part.
No.
I know. Yeah, I'm all in on it. I'm all in. That's why you don't start at Thanksgiving. You start before it, right? So be pounding ham and turkey, man.
January 1st and ended by Thanksgiving.
No, because I'm not a basic guy like that. You can't start on January 1st stuff. You have to start stuff before the new year to see if you can actually carry through resolutions.
Fair enough. I don't believe in resolutions, so I don't do them. Okay, so that is the show coming up today. We're going to start off with the NFC North, a great piece in The Athletic. And it was put together by a couple of writers, Mike Jones, Ted Wynn, and Michael Silver. And I know a lot of you don't like Michael Silver. I like Michael Silver. I've known Michael Silver for a while. But anyways, it's Mike Jones, Ted Wynn, and Michael Silver are the three guys. And they pose different questions to these guys after the last week's games to see, what their thoughts are and so forth. Well, one of the questions that was posed was about the NFC North. And it says the NFC North is now a 3-team race. Rank the Bears, Packers, and Lions after what you saw in Week 12. So I'm going to ask you to do the same thing. Nicolay Law, talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. We're live on YouTube and Twitter /X as well at WI Sports Radio. Make sure to get us there as well. Okay. So Mike Jones, one of the three writers participating in this at The Athletic, when asked how to rank his top three, says the Green Bay Packers are his number one team in the NFC North. A top 10 defense with an ability to harass the quarterback, force takeaways, get off the field on third downs, a balanced offense with a sharp and creative, detail-oriented coach. Did you hear what I just said?
I did.
He said that LaFleur has a balanced offense with a sharp and creative, detail-oriented coach, a talented quarterback, and great running back depth. In December, January, and February, you have to be able to run the football. Even though some of this fan base hates the fact that they run the football, it's a good point pointed out by Mike Jones. He takes the Packers as his favorite team. Will Packer fans themselves take the Packers? That's what I want to know. Nicolay Law, talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. All right, let's go to it. Tommy Wirtz, how would you line them up?
Yeah, I think that the interesting part from this piece that I want to start with is that unanimously, the Chicago Bears at 3, I think is interesting, right? As the team who is in the lead right now in the NFC North for the best record, but no one feels it. You know what it feels like? What was was it a Kirk Cousins year when the Vikings were 13-4 with the negative point differential, and then they lost to the Giants in the first round of the playoffs? It's giving a lot of those vibes right now, and they have the young team, the quarterback, obviously, Caleb Williams. I don't think a lot of people respect their schedule going down the line here. There is a real shot, Sparky, that the Chicago Bears don't win 10 games, looking at the back end of their schedule. And I thought I was crazy looking at it, but judging by a lot of these guys and their predictions, no one respects them at the end of it.
For those people that don't know the Bears schedule, the Bears are in Philly, then to Green Bay, home against the Browns, home against the Packers, at the Niners, home against the Lions. Cleveland is a win. The rest, all up in the air.
Is Cleveland a win right now? They got Shador working, I mean, what are we talking about?
Of those games,
Myles Garrett could have 7 sacks in that game. He could actually just destroy everything.
Couldn't you look at the Packers' remaining schedule and say the same thing about there's a lot of tough games for the Green Bay Packers?
Absolutely.
I mean, you've got Denver, you've got Baltimore, you've got Detroit here, you've got the Vikings one more time, even though they didn't look good. You got the Bears twice. I mean, they don't have a cupcake schedule either on the way out here if you respect the Bears and what they've done.
Yeah, and 100%. We knew this going into it with the NFC North schedule this year, that this back end is really the whole season, right? Everyone keeps it close within a game and a half of each other, and now everyone has pretty much control of their own destiny in the NFC North. If they want to continue to keep winning, they're going to be at the top. I think that this Packers team, this was a weird spot for Detroit, right? I'm sure Trap Game was brought up over at 97.1 The Ticket over there in Detroit, saying that they're looking ahead past the Giants because they know they have this big Thanksgiving game against the Green Bay Packers coming up. But I think that Green Bay handled their trap game a little bit better and took care of business. We've been screaming for a complete game out of this team. This is the most complete game they've played since week 1, week 2 of the season right now. Did it look like everything was clicking on all cylinders on the offense? Maybe not. On the defense, about as close as you can get. Maybe a little bit helped out from the worst quarterback in the NFL in Minnesota playing right now. But I think that this Packers team, looking at it from who should be at the top at the end of this, Green Bay has as good a chance as anyone right now. And I do believe that they are the team to beat still in the NFC North right now, because Detroit doesn't look like Detroit of last year. And I do not trust the Chicago Bears team at all.
You don't trust the Bears either. It doesn't seem like anybody trusts the Bears.
No.
Going back to that piece that we were talking about, Jones has the Lions second. Plenty of talent to go around in offense and defense, but some inconsistencies cause this team to struggle more than it should. I'm not sold on Dan Campbell, the play caller, but I do believe in Dan Campbell, leader of men. I agree. I believe in him, leader of men. I also don't like him as a play caller. I've never liked him as a play caller anywhere he's been in the NFL throughout his entire career. And when Dan Campbell took it back over, I told Charlie Hughes on Wisconsin Sports Daily, this is great for everybody that gets to play the Lions the rest of the way out. Then I hear TJ Lang, former Packer offensive lineman, now with the Lions broadcast team. He's on before us on 9 to noon with John Kuhn and Brandon Snide, because Rami McLeod was out today. And TJ Lang is saying, third downs, man, it's killing them. They can't get the third downs. They can't move the chains. Well, guess why? Because that's the cat calling the plays, man. And I don't care what anybody says, there is an art to that. There are some people that are special at it. Ben Johnson, I think you could say, can be a special play caller. Dan Campbell ain't special. Dan Campbell may be average, okay? But I don't think Dan Campbell is special. And that is going to screw up that offense, because what happens is this. He gets into a rhythm, right? And it's like, oh, man, Jared Goff just hit that big play. All right, I'm going to go back to the well there and try and hit Williams again. Or, boy, that was a nice run by Jahmyr Gibbs. I'm going to go back to the well, and we're going to try and do that again. And in my opinion, I haven't watched all the Lions games necessarily with Dan Campbell. My guess is, having not watched, is I bet you he gets predictable. And I bet you he's doing things over and over again that teams are figuring out.
Do you think that not successful third down is more of a reflection on the coach and play caller or the quarterback in Detroit? Because
quarterback hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is the play caller.
But with the success on first and second down for Detroit, like, that's because they're probably running the ball with one of the best running backs in the NFL right now in Jahmyr Gibbs. And when
you
they
have to play honest to keep the run. So you can't just play straight back.
So if you're playing your scenario for third down and it's not been successful, like, is that not the defense probably just being like, all right, well, we'll try to get home with 4 and Jared Goff, go ahead, beat us. I'd rather him beat them than Jahmyr Gibbs, who just single-handedly won them a football game last Sunday.
But again, I think what makes certain guys so good is the ability to not only call plays and set plays up for later and get those home run calls and so forth later in the game, but what you do earlier in the game. The other part of it is, as an offensive coordinator, is scheming guys open and giving these guys a chance to make those big plays. And if you go back to LaFleur and some of the times how wide open some of these guys have been over the course of time while Matt LaFleur has been coach, that's been exactly what's happened. And now you look at Dan Campbell, we'll see. I mean, we're going to find out on Thursday how they are on third down. Is it going to be a struggle, and is it going to be this Packers defensive line getting home on third down and end up with 4 or 5 sacks in this game?
Is it safe to say that this game's for the division in your mind on Thursday?
That's what everybody is saying, so sure.
Sure. I mean, it just feels like that's going to be the team that's going to propel themselves to this back end of the schedule right now. And if the Packers are able to go into Detroit on Thursday for Thanksgiving, like, this is – Jordan Love's had a lot of success on Thanksgiving football games. I don't know if you're aware of that as well.
Yep.
And there's been some times, like 2 years ago, when they really turned this whole thing around because of Thursday Thanksgiving against Detroit. And I think that this is another opportunity for that. I don't know where it falls. I tend to think that it's got to start with the defense, and it doesn't start with Matt LaFleur. It doesn't start with Jordan Love. It doesn't start with Josh Jacobs. It starts with, if this defense just prevents points like they've done now over this season, like this is where Green Bay wants them to be. They had a phenomenal week one against them. Penei Sewell and Micah Parsons now is really implemented into that defense, and he was causing havoc already in game one. I think Green Bay is setting up pretty nicely right here.
Coming up next, we're going to talk with Sojourn Shelton, former Badger cornerback. Follow him on the Money Down podcast. Does a great job there with Warren Herring. And, of course, James White, the former Badger running back. We'll get his thoughts on the Badgers winning 2 of 3, trying to make it 3 of 4. That's next. Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. Welcome back. It is the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Steve Sparky, Fifer here. Filling in for Mason Crosby and Mitch Thunder Nellis today. Tommy Wirtz here, as always. Joining us now on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. There he is, Sojourn Shelton, former Badgers
Fellas, how y'all doing?
on the Money Down podcast. Warren Herring, James White, all those fine folks over there. Sojourn, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Anytime anytime you send me the text to come on, I'm coming on, Sparky. So I appreciate you always.
I appreciate it. So are you still in Florida? Because I see that nice Christmas tree there. Y'all put up Christmas trees in Florida? That's a thing without snow?
Yeah, so we got a thing every year where we change the theme of the Christmas tree. I want to say 2 years ago we did the Grinch. Last year we did Candyland, and this year
Nice.
I don't know. I want to say it's like a race theme.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Like a NASCAR
just try to
thing.
try to make it a little fun. So
Do you ever save your trees, Sojourn, and then just have a bunch of them in your house at a time?
no,
that would be
one tree
crazy.
thing every year.
Yeah, that would be wild. Who would have more than one Christmas tree,
See,
right, Sojourn?
and the thing is,
Sparky has more than one.
Sparky has 14.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't see that one coming,
man.
did you? Yeah, 14.
Yeah,
14 trees.
Not at all.
But the thing I want to bring up is we're on all over the state, right? So we're on in Green Bay and WNFL in Green Bay. We're on the game in Wausau. We're on the game in Duluth Superior. And right now there's a winter storm warning in effect in Superior in the Duluth area. Tonight, snow accumulations between 9 and 18 inches of snow tonight in that area. Come on, man. Why don't you move back to Wisconsin? Why don't you come move back, man?
It's so I used to tell people all the time, I'm like, man, I truly do miss the Midwest, and I really do. And they were just like, nah, like, as a college student, you don't got to shovel no driveways.
Yep.
Like it's another part of it that I didn't get the experience on my time there at Madison. So I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll just when I get the time to just visit, enjoy it, enjoy the season, enjoy the cold weather. But when it's the weather like that, I got to get back to Florida, man.
Yeah, get back to Florida. A very wise move. Hey, things have changed like seasons change for this Wisconsin Badger football program, right? Since you and I talked last time on Wisconsin Sports Daily, it went from the depths of despair to now looking at this going, wait, where was this all year? Like, what changed? You tell me. I mean, they've won 2 out of 3, and they got a chance to maybe beat Minnesota and win 3 or 4 on the way out here.
Yeah, man, improvement. I think it started really. I mean, our defense has been decent this year, but I think the D-line and edge play has been dominant these last couple of weeks and really helped us everywhere on the defense side of the ball, right? When you start up front, it's lesser for the corners out there to cover it with, timings on routes. Our linebackers, a young group, have been playing really, really well.
Yeah.
And these are all things that we can continue to see moving forward. You look on the offense side of the ball, we've been able to run the ball well. Carter Smith adding that element of, the QB, threat with the run game. Like, there's so much more stuff, it seems like, these last couple of weeks that teams have to truly prepare for. And my whole thing was, the schedule was tough, right? Some of the teams and games we played, we knew were going to be tough, but where was this when we played Maryland? Iowa, Maryland, like the game, Iowa, Maryland. Like, where was this when we played that? So it's good that things are starting to change now. We got a big one. We know how big this rivalry is to both of these states and to both of these programs. And I'm interested to see how this thing shakes out on Saturday.
Yeah. And Sojourn, pleasure to meet you now. But I'm wondering now, were you going through this like coaching, hot seat with Anderson back in the day? Yeah. And like, is that something that in a locker room, there's like 2 ways you can go about this. You can lean into it or you can fight back. Right. And this Badgers team, I mean, when Luke Fickell, like after that Iowa game, I think he was crying in the presser. Like it looked really rough at that point, but we kept hearing from some beat writers, like, this team hasn't given up on him yet. And his guys haven't given up on him yet. And really, since that Oregon game, where I know they lose by 14 or whatever in that game, but they played their butts off in that one. And since that moment, they've covered or won outright on every spread so far. And it really shows that these guys haven't give up on him. Is that something that you expected out of a locker room with Luke Fickell at the helm right now? Or is that something that seems a little foreign right now? Because I think a lot of people already gave up on Luke Fickell, but obviously his guys didn't do that.
I wouldn't say I expected it. I will say it is, especially, college football, professional level, when you're losing games like that. I mean, we were losing pretty bad, right? 37-0 to Iowa.
Yep.
Like those type of losses, it gets tough to, I want to say, come to work every day. But you always hear, guys and coaches preach about having to come in and put your best foot forth. So to see that this team has continued to do that, I think is a great thing and a good step for not only the guys that's coming back, but for the coaching staff, because it shows that players can still lock in and also go in and put the work in.
I have a question for you, Sojourn Shelton. So, I mean, for many years, the Badgers just go to bowl games every year. It's just automatic. They go to a bowl game, wherever it may be, Florida, wherever they go. And a couple of years ago, it was like, nah, we're not going to go. We aren't good enough. We're going to turn down the invite and go. Okay, fine. Now last year, you don't qualify. Now this year, if you win, you're all of a sudden 5-7. Hey, man, there have been some 5-7 teams go play in a bowl game. If you're Wisconsin and Luke Fickell, do you accept if you get an invite?
Of course. I mean, it's not like you say, Wisconsin and Luke Fickell. I think it's more so about the senior class and these guys that have wore that W for 4 years. You got to accept it. And I think that's why last week, being senior night, guys like Rico, all those guys, DP, who ended up winning, I want to say Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week. Last week for that. It's about those guys, right? Giving them that opportunity. Those guys have played in bowl games, but then last year, right, had to sit out, had to take a lot of heat from former players, a lot of beat writers, media people. So I mean, I think if you get the 5-7, also beating Minnesota to catapult you to a bowl game, and you get invited, of course you got to accept and take it, because it's about that group of guys that put that W on their helmet for 4 years and giving them an opportunity to have fun with that last moment for them to wear that motion W.
That's why I like having Sojourn Shelton on the show, because you went from a completely different angle than what I was thinking. My reason of why you accept is for all the freshmen to get all those additional practices and get ready for the next year, right? I mean, those have got to be valuable for those young guys.
Yeah, that has to be valuable too. But a lot of also that part of it, and then some of these senior guys, right? You hate to say it, but this might be the last time some people put on a helmet, right? Like just being, brutally honest and the reality of it, right? So I think it's all of those reasons, right? The senior class, guys can get meaningful reps for next year, not looking forward to next year, not looking ahead to next year, but I mean, the schedule is it's way easier. A lot easier than what we had to deal with this season. This is where you kind of put yourself in the right mental and head space to come back in winter and January and get to it, right? We got to win a lot of ball games this next year. So I think everything has been started from 2 or 3 weeks ago, but I think it gets serious from Saturday and then moving on forward.
Former Badger Sojourn Shelton joining us here on the Mason Crosby Show. I want to talk about this defense and off of Sparky's point, the freshmen getting some experience. Mason Posa, Cooper Catalano. I don't think that they quite had emerged last time you had spoken to Sparky, but it feels like priority number one has to be whatever those guys want in NIL, you give to those guys and keep them and retain them. That should be the number one goal for this offseason right now. I just wanted to talk about two freshmen coming in, true freshmen leading this way and really sparking something into this team, and your thoughts on how leadership can change no matter where you are in the program and what it really takes to accomplish that, because obviously a couple of 18-year-olds doing it and very apparent are maybe the two best players on the team right now.
Yeah, leadership has no age, man. Like you come in there and you're serious and you're serious about your craft and want to get better. And right now, being in the state of ball that we've been in a couple weeks ago, it's there for the taking, right? Anybody come in and can show that they can make plays and can lead by example as well, I think is all for it. I think you kind of hit on it a little bit, right? And talked about the NIL element. Whatever those guys want moving forward, we have to answer to that bell, because that's what college football is right now. College football is other teams seeing that you have younger guys or multiple younger guys that are going out there and making plays. And now those teams want to take your players. And that's just where it is, where, that's just the state of football right now. So, I just think for those guys to continue to play well, right? You're about to walk into a rivalry that you can only hear about how important it is until you play in that game. Walk into a rivalry and you guys got to be the two players, freshmen and all, to go out there and make some plays, and for guys to look at and say, all right, they're in that zone and in that mode. Let me piggyback off that and go out here and make a play, a game-changing play.
Well, and then another very important freshman now since last time you talked, Carter Smith, right? I don't think that anything has been like super eye-popping if you're looking at a box score at the end of the game. And maybe the throw, the passing game hasn't really taken off all that well, but you've seen Jeff Grimes really open the playbook up of some more creativity with Carter Smith over this time, whether it's, Vinny Anthony catching a jet sweep. I feel like you guys were running a jet sweep once a game back when you were playing, and it was going to the house, whoever it was. It was like rock, paper, scissors to see who gets this jet sweep for the Badgers this week. But now they're opening up. Even the play against Indiana, it was a beautiful, everyone thinks they're going to run it on 4th and 1, a little play action, pull it and find it. Speak on Carter Smith right now and what he's doing with this Badger team, because he isn't necessarily leading by example with the numbers, but the boys just rally behind him at some point, Sojourn.
And I think too, right, when you game, we hear so much about being a game manager, and he's been managing games well these past couple weeks. And then also you talked about Grimes opening up the playbook. Here it is, we're in the back half of the season. Why hold anything left in the tank? Just release it all out. See what you got. Got a quarterback that can present a threat as far as the read option. And I think that is something that is so I won't say so it's something that a lot of teams don't present. And when you do present that, you have to now bring somebody else to account for that quarterback. So it opens up so many more things. Now you just got to make the simple throws. We got to hold on to the ball. We don't have to turn the ball over. And then when you have a defense like our defense is playing these last couple of weeks, again, you just got to keep us in the game because they're going to go out there and get stops. So I just think overall, if we continue to build off of that and then also add in, some other things, I think moving forward for the rest of the season and then for next year, I think we'll be in a decent spot.
Are you convinced that they will really spend all this additional NIL money that they claim that they have? I mean, there was somebody the other day said they're going to, what did you say, Tommy? Somebody the other day said they're going to go from bottom third to top third in the Big Ten.
If you want me to be honest, no, I don't think so. But it's one of the, that's just my honest answer as of right now. Obviously, it's a long off season until next fall, and I hope we do, because I've been saying it for a long, long time, even on previous, shows with you, Sparky, that is what college football is right now, right? You look at the Michigans, you look at the Ohio States, you look at the Oregon, right? Even some of the bottom half teams that we talk about with Maryland, with Indiana.
Could you imagine Indiana being at where they are when you were playing?
No, I think nobody's seen this.
No one saw that
coming. And Indiana looks like they're not slowing down no time soon. So I just think if we want to be successful and we want to, get back into that conversation of being one of the best teams in the Big Ten, we got to spend the money. So I think we'll see this offseason.
There he is, Sojourn Shelton, former Badger DB. And, of course, follow him on Twitter @_SDS8, @_SDS8. Money Down Podcast. I'm telling you, it's good stuff. Warren Herring, James White, this dude here, Sojourn Shelton, highly entertaining, all kinds of knowledge across the board. Want to check that out for sure. Sojourn, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it. Stay warm in Florida.
No problem. Will do. Appreciate it every time. Y'all have a good one.
I like how you wore a Letterman jacket for this.
Yeah, man. UW.
Look at that. Yeah,
this is a big week. This is a big week. Anytime Axe Week come up, got to show love. So,
but I mean, it's a bigger week because you got to face that twerp Fleck. I mean, if it wasn't Fleck, I don't think I'd get as worked up. But I can't stand that dude, Sojourn. Can't stand that.
That's the second time I think the last show you made a joke, so you really don't.
No, I don't like that guy. No, not at all. Hey, thanks so much, Sojourn. Have a good Thanksgiving.
No problem. You guys too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving. There he is, Sojourn Shelton on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call. That's all. I love having Sojourn Shelton.
Oh yeah, good stuff there, man. I mean, I love his insight on just whoever's leading by example has to become the leader now of the team, right? And that's what this Badger team has leaned into, and it's all come from guys who were taking pre-calculus classes last year. So
right.
I think that's kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Thanks for listening to the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. As we mentioned earlier, those of you in Duluth and Superior, I'm sorry, man. I mean, thanks for listening on 710 The Game, but 9 to 18 inches they're saying on this winter storm warning. Oof. The game in Wausau, 93.9, and WNFL in Green Bay, 99.7, and of course in Milwaukee, 1250 AM and 105.7 FM, The Fan. Make sure to follow us on social media, WI Sports Radio. I've heard the other shows before us talking about the Bucks and what kind of a fiasco this has truly been without Giannis. We shall not be left out. We also have to talk about expectations, and have they really changed after you've seen the last 3 or so games without Giannis? Have your expectations for the Bucks changed? I had people text me like, season's over, it's all done, it's just garbage, they're horrible. Y'all need to calm down. That's coming up next. Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky and Tommy here.
And he's always been that way. Played his college ball at North Carolina, finished up at Arizona. Oh,
Bobby first quarter.
First quarter BP.
Bobby first quarter.
It's 3 for 3.
Bobby Portis was literally the only reason they were in that game for the first half. Yeah, 20 points or something like that in the first half. I mean, he was playing out of his mind to start that game. I texted Tommy Wirtz last night. I was like, hey, man, you watching this game? And his answer was different than what I was expecting. He's like, it's on. Now, I didn't understand what that meant, it's on, because I didn't mean I was watching. It just means it's on.
Yeah.
So that meant to me that either A, you're focused, you have 2 TVs, which fancy pants, and you were watching Monday Night Football or something else, or B, which I think I'm probably more on the money is, you were playing video games and had it on the other TV.
Dude, that's exactly what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I have like a little corner desk in my room. So I have my desktop over here, my TV over here. So I did have it on.
So you played video games on your desktop computer screen?
No, I play video games on the TV, and then the desktop, I had the FanDuel up on over there with it around. It's, man, like, call it how it is. This Bucks team is just a brutal watch without Giannis sometimes. And the Blazers are not a team that anyone is expecting to be this stud powerhouse team. I mean, the score doesn't even do it justice, because at the end of the game, like, the Blazers just knew they won already and mailed it in, and the Bucks were able to make it a 12-point loss as opposed to a 20-point loss, in which it could have easily been in this contest too. But man, this Giannis-less Bucks is not a fun watch right now. But the Thanasis and one at the end of the game was pretty cool.
Don't care. How much of your expectations for this Bucks team changed after these past few games? So has your season outlook changed for this Bucks team based on what they look like without Giannis? Nicolay Law, talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. They built this basketball team like they've been building this basketball team to revolve around one guy. Now, they built it more around one guy than they have in years past, because you had Milton, legit 2. You had Lillard, potentially a 1, but in this case, legit 2. Obviously, if you believe Giannis was the 1, they were never healthy to really see what that was going to play out to be after 2 years. But either way, and now for the first time, he doesn't have that 2. And their sales job was, it's okay. We've got so many great shooters from 3. That's how we're going to win games. He's going to attract a crowd, kick, and we're going to get wide open shots, and we're going to take more than we took last year and knock those down at a high rate. That's how we're going to win basketball games. And I did not like that idea or that concept, because I hate teams shooting a bunch of 3s. But that is the NBA, so I understand. So fine, here we go. Man, I don't know about everybody else. You can see how this is going to work. I mean, you could see it working in different games of like, okay, this is what it's supposed to look like. Okay, this is good. Now, can you get the defense that you need consistently every game to go along with what this offense is eventually going to be? And you're doing it without Kevin Porter Jr., who, besides Kuzma, was your only other legitimate hope of being a 20-point night scorer coming into the season. Now, Rollins is getting his points. Now, he didn't have a great game last time, but yes, Rollins is getting his points. Sure. I don't know how much you believe that he can be a true number 2. But guys, you cannot expect to win basketball games when the centerpiece of this is not on the floor. Mm-hmm. Aaron Rodgers breaks a collarbone. They don't win a game for like 2 months when you took Aaron Rodgers out. Now, football is even way more different, because you've got special teams, you've got defense, there's other ways to maneuver. In basketball, there's only 5 guys on the court. So that centerpiece is even more critical to an NBA team than it even is to a National Football League team. But you saw how much it impacted that. If you take Luka Doncic off the Lakers, they're dead. It's over. If I take SGA off the Thunder, they might win some games, but they're not going to win a championship. That one, it's done. If you go and take the Joker out of Denver, they're completely screwed. No chance. It's over. So instead of overreacting and freaking out and like, oh my God, they can't win a game. We had a guy here, sales guy here that works here. And the other day, yesterday morning, he's like, they got to get Portland. Portland or the Nets. They got to win these 2 games. It's like, what are we talking about? No, they don't. They don't have to win any of these games. When Giannis comes back, he comes back. They figure it out. We get on a run at some point, put together 5, 7, 8 games in a row, whatever the case may be. Put this behind you, and you keep moving. It is November, man.
Yeah.
We haven't even got to Christmas, and there are people literally jumping off bridges over the Bucks this season.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I'm Mr. Emotional. Y'all need to calm down. If Giannis gets hurt again and he is out the rest of the year, then by all means, we can talk about, this season sucks, it's over, and no need to watch for any more basketball. I'll get with you on that. But providing he comes back and he's healthy, if this team is healthy going into the playoffs, and they're going to the playoffs, if this team is healthy in the playoffs, they can still do stuff in the playoffs with what they got. And if they get on a run between now and the trade deadline, John Horst will do something else to add another player.
Maybe. I mean, that seems like it's something he has been able to do in years past. But I'm wondering now, like, first of all, the biggest problem is this team has a serious rebounding problem when Giannis is not on the court.
And they don't get to the free throw line.
It's atrocious. It's a terrible watch because you are screaming. And I know your guy, Marcus Johnson, he wasn't on the call yesterday, but every time I'm watching this Bucks game and Marcus Johnson do I need to get out there and show him how to box out?
It was Wes Matthews yesterday.
Yeah, Wes Matthews has been filling in.
He's okay.
Now he's fine. Yeah,
he's
I don't have any gripes with him. But they have a serious rebounding problem when he's not there. And I wonder now, is there something different between the take of they built the best team with Giannis that they could build, or built the best team around Giannis with what they could build right now? Because around Giannis is different. That assumes that Giannis is here and Giannis is playing, and you can totally take that avenue of building a team around the player. But rather, when he's not available, is this the best possible lineup they could have constructed with Giannis on the team in general? Like, I think the more fun Milwaukee Bucks team is when Giannis is on the court. No doubt about that.
Right.
But if you have to plan ever that he's not going to be on the court, do you still have a competent basketball team out there? And right now that's up in the air. And again, I don't think it's fair to throw Bucks expectations away if Giannis is not involved in the plan. He is obviously a part of the plan in Milwaukee, but the team around him, like Ryan Rollins, I like the story. I like what he does. I kind of feel like he's in a, at best, Bradley Beal, Washington situation where you're a good player on a bad team, and that's why your numbers look great. And yesterday, they didn't even look great during that. Kuzma has actually been maybe the most surprising story to me. And Ryan Rollins is most improved for sure, but I think everyone had thrown their expectations out for Kyle Kuzma, and now all of a sudden, every time he's on the court, like, he's doing a lot of smart stuff out there.
Again, settle down. It's November. This is what happens. I'm telling you right now, man. AJ Green, Derry Bird, woo, gets off to a hot start, and he takes like 3 shots a game now. Again,
which is dumb.
So everybody got all overreactionary on that cat, and now look, we're back to what we were.
You hate him for no reason.
Yeah, no, I don't hate him for no reason. I just don't think he's that good. I mean, everybody else, Derry Bird, he's great, man. Stop. He's a nice role player. Yes, great.
Yeah.
That's all he is a role player. And a role player that they don't even use nearly as much as they probably should if he can consistently hit threes. Now, going back to what you said about Kuzma and this whole thing, it's November. I'm with you. I am loving Kyle Kuzma and how he's playing. Can he consistently do it without getting hurt for the rest of the season? That's my question. Like, if we get to trade deadline and he's been rolling this way the whole way, now you can talk about, okay, he's got some value. Now maybe you can move Kuzma to get a legitimate second scorer, whoever that may be, going forward.
You think they need a second scorer before they need a big right now?
I don't give a damn about no damn big. There aren't enough big bigs in the NBA to get that overly concerned about. You're talking about a backup center to play behind Miles Turner?
Yeah,
you can get a backup center with a second-round pick or whatever later, or in the buyout market. I'm talking about a legitimate number 2 scorer that's going to give you 20 a night. Now, again, Kevin Porter Jr. can be that guy. I think he can, but we have to wait and see how that plays out. He's working his way back and so forth. Nikolay Latanka text line 414-677-1250. 414-677-1250. 414, sorry, Sparky, I call him like I see him. The Bucks aren't winning without a 34. I mean, are they going to the playoffs? Don't need to be a negative Nelly. Listen, They don't have Giannis. It's over. I said that. It's all done. It's over. If they have Giannis and these guys are healthy, they're going to the playoffs, and they may do some damage in the playoffs as well. Because I'll give you an example. And this is a very extreme example, so don't rip on me for it. You go back to the Dick Bennett, Wisconsin Badgers back in the day.
Yeah.
That team, they were probably the most unathletic team, one of the most unathletic teams that year in the NCAA tournament. They beat an NBA-laden Arizona squad, took them to the woodshed. Why? Because they hit their threes and they were smart. That is what you're going to have here if you are the Milwaukee Bucks going forward. You're going to have to hit your threes in the playoffs when you get to that point in order to win games. And if you are shooting 30-some% from three or whatever in the playoffs, it's over. You're going to get swept. It's going to be a quick.
Are you
quick deal.
disappointed in the team's performance without Giannis?
I don't care about it.
Okay, fine.
As I've said before, I do not really care. The first game, watch that. I said, okay, there's some positives, right? You have to work on rebounding and get to the free throw line, but there are some positives here. Right now, this is exploratory. Who can be that guy possibly with Giannis and Miles Turner? It's Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Up next, Eli Berkovits of the Packer Report joins us here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
A Super Bowl champion.
The Green Bay Packers have won the Super Bowl.
The Packers' all-time leading scorer.
A game winner for Mason Crosby.
It's time for the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, and on the free Odyssey app.
How y'all doing on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving? Stores are packed. I'm convinced people took off today as much as they took off tomorrow. I think most people took off both days because I'm getting text messages saying, hey, this store is packed. Hey, this store is packed. Oh, you should see the sales on at this store. I was like, I'm working, man. What good are you doing? Why are you telling me this for? I can't do anything about these sales going on at all these stores all over the place. Maybe that's the play. Maybe the play now is because Black Friday is no longer Black Friday, right? I mean, it's not stand in line outside for 4 hours and wait to go inside. Those were the days, Tommy. I mean, stand outside a Target for like 3 hours waiting to get the big screen TV for little to no money, and then go inside and take advantage of whatever else may be there.
I feel like I am the last generation of malls were cool.
I
right?
love malls. I still love malls.
I mean, malls are just sad every time, it feels like now, and not the same, but malls were the place to be. And I remember like my parents being like, you're not allowed to go to the mall on Black Friday. Like, this is craziness all the time. And sure enough, like now I feel like you can go to the mall on Black Friday and it won't be that crazy anymore.
I don't know. The mall I go to has been seriously busy for like the last month with all the sales going on. That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, all of these different sales are going on so far ahead of time, and so many people buy online. That also takes some people out of the stores.
Cyber Monday.
It feels like there's a lot of people out shopping this year. All right, joining us now. He's not out shopping. He's hanging out with us right here. He is Eli Berkovits from the Packer Report. Follow him on Twitter at @bookofeli_NFL. Joins us on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. Follow us on YouTube, on X at WI Sports Radio as we live stream it. You can see Eli Berkovits dressed in all black. What is the meaning of you dressing in all black, Eli?
It is not a bad omen. Just, running around today, kind of rainy weather here in Chicago. So threw on my trusty black hoodie. And then this was just the closest cap to where I was sitting that I just threw on here. But feeling good. Definitely not feeling in a dark mood today after probably the most stress-free Packers game of the season. So I'm feeling good. I'm looking forward to Thursday, though, obviously. Probably the biggest game of the year.
If you're Jordan Morgan, are you in a dark mood?
Yeah, I think Jordan Morgan, I mean, to give him some credit, it's not fair. Like, he's not a right guard, right? Like, he didn't play that in college. We drafted him to be a left tackle. Rasheed Walker happens to be better than him right now, a left tackle. I think if you give Morgan the chance next year to compete at left tackle, maybe we're talking about him differently. But he just isn't a right guard, and I think it's okay to accept that and play someone else there, likely Anthony Belton. Like, why force that on him? You didn't draft him to be a guard, and it's like we need him to work at guard. You draft him to be a tackle. He's not a guard. It's not an indictment on him as an overall player, so just stop trying it.
But wasn't his versatility like a huge part of why they drafted him? And isn't that something that Goody looks at also, where, look at a guy like Zach Tom, where he's just played every position. And I don't want to compare him to the best player at the position. Maybe even Anthony Belton has been playing a little bit of tackle, a little bit of guard here. Like, does it not feel a little bit forced with Jordan Morgan? When we talked about it at the beginning of the year with Mitch Nellis and Mason Crosby, it was, you can write Jordan Morgan's name in Sharpie, but you don't know where to write it on that offensive line. It's not in pen. It's not in pencil. They've just been forcing themselves to maybe figure out what they have, or they think he's one of their best 5 guys. Like, it feels a little forced at this point, Eli.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think they're trying to justify drafting him in the first round. And like you said, the versatility, but it was one of those things where we were projecting the versatility as opposed to some other players we drafted that we saw in college play at different spots. And I think Morgan played a little bit at guard in college, but number one, it was left guard, not right. But he really wasn't. He was really a left tackle, and they were projecting that versatility. But sometimes you just can't, they just don't do it. Like, we happen to have gotten lucky with Elton Jenkins and Zach Tom and players like that, where you could move them all over. But if Jordan Morgan can't do that, again, I don't think that makes him a terrible player. It just makes him a left tackle. Make it work at left tackle, or it doesn't work. And look, it was a wasted, bad first-round pick, and it is what it is. But to try to force him in at right guard, to be like, ooh, well, we drafted him first round, we got to play him no matter what. Like, you don't go and take a busted, cornerback and be like, well, we got to play him, so let's just play him at safety and hope that works. Like, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm not saying he's over, because we haven't seen him really get a shot at left tackle. But at right guard, I don't know how you could continue to trot him out there. I think Belton gives you a much better shot right now.
I agree. But guys, I mean, this is a Ted Thompson thing. I'm not even putting this on Goody. He's just doing what his mentor did before. And the Packers have been doing this crap with the offensive line for as long as I can remember. They've been doing this. This isn't something new. What I don't like is the term, well, they got lucky. I don't think they got lucky. They drafted these guys convinced that they could do what they are doing with them and moving them all around. I think that's a feather in the cap of Brian Gutekunst of knowing the players that would fit and mesh and move along that offensive line if need be, kind of going forward. If they thought Jordan Morgan was only a left tackle, there is zero chance they're drafting that cat there at the end of the first round. It's just not happening. But I can take you back to the times of Dom Capers and those guys. We draft Nick Perry, down defensive lineman. Stand up, Nick. We're going to teach you how to be a 3-4 linebacker. You had Aaron Campman's hand in the ground his whole career. We're switching. Stand up, Aaron. Let's see if you can do this. I mean, they've been doing it on both sides of the ball for so long. It's not even remotely surprising at this point when they decide to do it. Now, let's get to where I want to go to on this. Josh Jacobs, really good running back, no doubt. Your guy, Tommy Wirtz, who also you could see on X and YouTube right now. No polo today, sorry, folks. But he is right there. And that dude has been the president of the Emmanuel Wilson fan club since last year. Dude, play this cat. He's got some explosion. Play him. And this year, he's been all over in the Green Bay Football postgame show with me saying about Emmanuel Wilson. How good, Eli, do you think Emmanuel Wilson might be here? Is he a starting running back somewhere else in the league if he's not in Green Bay? Is he good enough to get 10 to 15 carries going forward if and when Josh Jacobs comes back? Like, how good is he? Or is he just a nice backup running back?
I kind of lean towards a really nice change of pace back. Like, I'm a big Emmanuel Wilson fan since we first saw him. I feel like last year and during the Malik Willis games, especially against the Titans, he had a pretty big game. He had that receiving screen touchdown, and he clearly has some juice to him. And he, again, like Jacobs, I feel like last year was definitely more explosive, but obviously this year he's been dealing with the calf injury, now the knee. Like, I do think Jacobs isn't at 100% right now. But Emmanuel Wilson, yes, there are certain teams I'm sure he would be the starter and would probably be pretty solid. But as good as he was on Sunday, I wouldn't say it was the most it was efficient in the fact that outside of Matt LaFleur choosing to run the ball on 3rd and short multiple times in a row and getting stuffed, other than those runs, he was picking up positive yardage on nearly every run. But I don't know if he necessarily has the kind of gear where it's like, you know what, this is the kind of guy we want to give 18 carries a game to. Obviously not with the Packers, but Josh Jacobs being there. But no, I'm a big Emmanuel Wilson fan, and I think once Jacobs back, he should still see, I don't know, somewhere between 6 and 10 carries, depending on how the game's going. Like, he did
have 100 yards after contact. Like, again, I don't think the offensive line played all that well for him either. Yeah. I think he was creating a lot of these opportunities that he got against Minnesota last week. And we've been saying the same thing about Josh Jacobs all year. Like, everyone's wondering, oh, has he lost a step? It's like, no, actually, the offensive line is really not going in a positive direction at all this year. And it feels like that is going to be a hindrance on the run game all season long until they figure it out at that point. Eli Berkovits, Book of Eli, joining us. Book of Eli _NFL on Twitter if you want to follow him along from the Packer Report. What about in the pass game right now, if you want to relate it back to the offensive line? But Jordan Love didn't have to do a whole lot against the Minnesota Vikings. I think Matt LaFleur kind of understanding that they had the game in control and they didn't really need him to do anything fancy during that. But how is his role going to change against Detroit in their offensive approach and for Matt LaFleur in your mind, Eli?
Yeah, I think you have to have Love in a game like that, have him slinging the ball. Doesn't mean completely go away from the run, but there are certain teams you're not going to be able. I think they ran the ball 42 times against the Vikings. Like, you're not beating the Lions, with 42 runs. It's just not going to happen. Obviously, yes, Love dealing with the separated shoulder. It made sense for them to be conservative. I'm not going to pretend like it didn't drive me nuts at times where I felt like there were multiple chances where the Packers could have just ended that game, no doubt about it. 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, run up the middle, stuff. And I think it was 3 consecutive possessions. I think 2 resulted in field goals. 1 was a punt. After the Isaiah McDuffie interception, right? It's like, okay, here we go. Dagger, touchdown, game over. Yes, you could say the game was already over anyway, but it's like.
I think that's what LaFleur thought. He also thought the game was over. Yes.
But you know what? Like, as bad as J.J. McCarthy has looked, it happens to be the 4th quarter is the only part of his game where he's looked decent a couple times. I think it was really both Bears games. But if there was any chance of anything, like you put up a touchdown after that Isaiah McDuffie interception, you're done, game over. You could pull the starters. It doesn't even matter. But instead, it's run, up the middle, stuff, punt. After an interception in Vikings territory, it's like, I just don't think that can happen. It definitely can't happen against the Lions. So it's going to be big, though. Like you said, the offensive line, it just has to play better. Like, I think a big part of why Jordan Love's numbers are down, the offense in general just has not gotten any kind of flow or rhythm. It's the offensive line. You cannot run an effective offense in the NFL when you have no time to throw and you're not creating any kind of room for your runners. Josh Jacobs and Emmanuel Wilson have to do everything, dodging guys in the backfield, breaking tackles in the backfield just to pick up 3 or 4 yards. That's not a sustainable way of going. So I'm hoping with Aaron Banks seemingly healthier, playing a little better the last couple weeks, Sean Ryan, look, I love Elton Jenkins, but I think we can all agree the center move did not really work. Like, he was a center in college, so I think everyone assumed play him at center in the NFL, he'll be great. It did not work. He was really, really not playing well, Elton Jenkins. I think Sean Ryan has been better at center than Jenkins was. And then if Belton can take that right guard spot and solidify it, I think that changes everything, because I'm not so worried about Tom and Walker. Walker hasn't been great, but I think if you get the interior of the offensive line mauling people, those are 3 big guys, Banks, Ryan, and Belton, heavy dudes. You can start running the ball up the middle. You can start the play action. Jordan Love will have some time to look downfield. It really all starts with the offensive line for me. So I'm hoping we see Belton out there on that first drive and no more rotations. Like, unless Belton is just awful early in that game, I'm so over the rotation stuff.
I'm with you. Eli Berkovits, Packer Report. Follow him on X at @bookofeli_NFL. Can this Packers team get to where they want to be without any involvement from the tight end position for the most part going forward? Because that's kind of seems where we're going.
Yeah, it's really bad. Like, I wrote a piece for Packer Report last week, kind of highlighting Josh Wiley, saying, maybe he can be the guy. Maybe, he was more productive in college as a pass catcher than Luke Musgrave, which I don't think a lot of people realize. He was a 5th-round pick. Musgrave was a 2nd-round pick. Right. And he was a better pass catcher than Musgrave, or at least more productive in terms of statistics. So I do think if there's anyone who can maybe just do something, be a 4-catch for 40-yard kind of guy. Like, obviously no one on this roster is giving us what Kraft gave us, but someone needs to just be that short yardage kind of safety blanket for Love. But also, when you have as many receivers as the Packers have, now obviously they have to get healthy, but I think we're going to see Golden on Thursday. I think we'll see Reed. If not Thursday, we'll see him next Sunday. You have all these receivers. You can use them, yes, not like a tight end in line, but you could use them in that shorter area over the middle of the field. Like, you have so many options where if none of these tight ends separate themselves, just play more 4 wide receiver sets and have the tight end stay in line, maybe chip block, roll out into the flat if you're desperate. But I think offenses could get by in the NFL without a good tight end when you have the kind of receiving group and the running backs that the Packers have. So it obviously sucks to lose Kraft. And it's disappointing that Musgrave has just shown nothing. Like, he's essentially still tight end 3 without Kraft, which is wild. But I do think there's enough talent at receiver they could get by.
Eli, the best game of the year for this Green Bay Packers team until maybe this past week was the very first week of the season against this same Detroit Lions team. It was Micah Parsons' debut. The offense looked great. It was their first streak of all they have to do is score 27 points, and then they're going to be fine the rest of the day. But it feels like both teams are at a completely different spot now than they were in week 1. It's a huge game in which the winner of this game will now be in second place in the NFC North with a chance for Green Bay to move up to the first place if things go right for them in the Bears game. But what is the difference now from that week 1 game to this now Thanksgiving Day game between that Lions game? Because I don't really weigh much of it. It feels like week one is always weird. Micah Parsons, I think, could be more productive even in this game because he's now a little more acclimated to this team. But what are some of the key differences that you see from week one against Detroit versus Thursday upcoming now?
I think the biggest difference by far is the Lions play calling situation, where week one, they had the new offensive coordinator, no more Ben Johnson. And it didn't surprise me that it didn't look great to start the season for the Lions offense. They were getting used to it. It wasn't really working. And now Dan Campbell took over, and he has his, deficiencies as well. But I do think he has clearly ignited a bit of a spark in the offense, and they've been better. But at the same time, I also think the Lions defense has been more injured and worse. The secondary's been worse. I mean, they gave up 517 yards to the Giants last week. They were trailing most of that game. I'm not surprised they won, but they easily could have lost. It took Jahmyr Gibbs' unbelievable game to get them and win that game. So I think the biggest thing for the Packers is going to be to try to do what they do every week, which is hold the ball, limit possessions in this game. Don't let the Lions get hot. Don't let Gibbs get hot. And that is,
so you're asking for them to run the ball like 30 or 40 times in this game. That's what you're saying then, Eli. We're right back to where we started the interview. And you said at the beginning of the interview, can't beat the Lions this way. And now I listen to you talk. It sounds like you're advocating for the same type of game plan.
I'm advocating for a more balanced. Again, I don't think you can do it with 35 plus rushes, but I also think you need to just do your best to keep the ball in the Lions' hands. And that doesn't necessarily mean running the ball over and over and over. We already know the Packers have a pretty slow pace of play. They're never really rushing, which I don't like either. I kind of wish they had some more tempo at times. But like the Lions offense is the kind of offense there. Once they get going, it gets really hard to stop. We have St. Brown, you have Jameson Williams, obviously no Sam Laporta. That makes a big difference, especially the Packers really struggle against tight ends. Laporta was the only guy week one who did anything against the Packers defense. So I do think that there's not enough of a difference between the two teams outside of health, but hopefully the Packers will be healthier by Thursday, that it should be like, oh, well, the Lions, are railing off wins. Like they're 7-4. They should have really lost to the Giants right there. Like they could have easily been 6-5 right now. And they're in a whole different situation after looking very bad against the Eagles 2 weeks ago. So I still think the Packers definitely have a chance to win this game. I think it's just going to come down to the offensive line. And if Matt LaFleur is willing to kind of let his offense get in a rhythm.
I'll tell you what I want, and I know they're not going to do it. I want to bring the dogs at Jared Goff. I don't want to play this, we're going to bring 4 and drop everybody back and see what happens. Jared Goff don't move, man. He's a statue. Go get Jared Goff, man. Put Adrian Cooper over there by Micah Parsons. Bring them both from one side. Let's see how they handle it, right? Make sure that every time they drop back, somebody is hitting that cat. And from the other perspective of this, and something we can talk about now is, how do you approach this game? Like, do you go into this game going, if we stop Jahmyr Gibbs, we win? Is that the game plan? Or is the game plan coming in, if we get home to Jared Goff 6-7 times and rattle him, we win? Like, what's the game plan to beat this offense right now? Because you can play this defense a multitude of ways and still be very good because of the talent they have on this defense.
Yeah, for me, facing Goff, it's always pressure Goff. I just think when Goff early in a game, we saw it week one, when he's early in the game getting pressured, getting hit, having to move out of the pocket, he just sort of crumbles. Like we've seen it for years. We saw it in LA, we've seen it in Detroit, and it doesn't happen often because of the way they run their offense, especially with Ben Johnson. They were so good at getting the ball out quick, first read kind of stuff. But if you could force Goff to go to a second and third read and pressure him, he turns into a totally different quarterback. And the Packers happen to be, I think they give up the least amount of explosive runs in football right now. So my plan would be blitz Jared Goff. And yeah, you know what, if they're going to try to beat us on the ground, obviously Jahmyr Gibbs would be, damn good at doing that. But I think their best shot would be force them to try to run for 200 yards again against one of the best run defenses in football, as opposed to let's, like you said, play a little softer, let Goff. Like I love Jeff Hafley. I think he's been phenomenal, but I do think his lack of blitzing, we saw some more blitzing versus the Vikings for sure, but I get it. You have Micah Parsons, you have Rashawn Gary, you have Devontae Wyatt, but sometimes you need more than a 4-man rush. You just do. I'm not talking about every single play, but on third downs, I think they should be blitzing more. I think they just need to be a little more aggressive in that area, especially against a guy like Goff.
Prediction time. What do you got?
Maybe I'm just being a homer, but I do think the Packers right now have a very good shot. And I just think they're more of a complete team. Also, I do think it's worth mentioning the Lions are coming off an overtime game where their defense played 83 snaps. The Packers defense played 45 snaps. Like, that matters on a short week. That is going to matter on a Thursday night, on a Thursday game. So I'm going to go Packers. I think it'll be a little lower scoring than some of the other Packers Lions in the past. I'm thinking 24-21 Packers.
There is Eli Berkovits, Packer Report. Follow him on X at Book of Eli _NFL. Eli, as always, thanks so much for coming on, man. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks for having me, guys. Enjoy your Thanksgiving, and hopefully we can talk again soon.
We'll do so. There he is, Eli Berkovits on the guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. Always fun talking to Eli Berkovits. I gotta say, I'm with him on this one. Like it to me, it feels like the Packers are the better football team as we sit here today, and where you don't really have a defensive deficiency necessarily, even with the cornerback position the way it is. Even if Keyshawn Nixon isn't going to play because of the way Halfley plays, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal or as big of a deal. And then offensively, I don't worry about them offensively. I just really don't. I think they can score enough points against this Lions defense. If the Giants did that with Jameis freaking Winston, you better assume that the Packers are going to at least throw up 24, 27 points in this game.
I don't know if I want to go all that exciting. I'm just in a different level of when Aaron Rodgers was the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. It was, hey, they always got a shot because Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. And now my mind has shifted, but it feels the same energy and same way about, hey, this defense is unlike any other defense I've seen in my lifetime for the Green Bay Packers, and I know it will keep them in football games.
Correct. That's exactly right. Sports Talk on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network is presented by Paramount Plus. Can't count on much these days, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game every Sunday on CBS and Paramount Plus all season long. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. So we had Sojourn Shelton. We had Eli Berkovits. As always, if you ever miss anything, you can always go back and find this show on podcast form. What does that mean, Sparky? That means we take all the commercials out, right? So you don't have to listen to all the commercials. All the commercials come out, and you can find this very show by searching The Mason Crosby Show and download it wherever you download your favorite podcast at. Very, very important to do that. Also, you can also catch us live streaming on X and YouTube as well at WI Sports Radio. Got shorts on YouTube, got the videos, interviews, everything broken up on YouTube as well. You're more of a visual person. Coming up on the other side of this, we're going to switch gears to a warm weather sport that doesn't get played in the fall and the winter necessarily. Well, there's fall of it. For the most part, it doesn't. An interesting piece in The Athletic by Jim Bowden, former Major League Baseball general manager, about Freddie Peralta. And he throws out several trade scenarios that could work for the Brewers and other teams that would see Freddie Peralta leave the Brewers. Now, you and I both don't want to see the Brewers trade Freddie Peralta, I don't think. But would there be any return that feels better for the Brewers next year if they were to trade Freddie Peralta? We'll discuss that coming up next. Nicolay Law, talking text line 414-677-1250, 414-677-1250. And just know, if Tommy and I are on a show, we're going to cram Brewers in somewhere. I'm just telling you right now. Oh, it's Tommy and Sparky. There'll be Brewers somewhere in the show. It's going to happen. Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It is the Basic Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. See Sparky Fifer here, filling in for Mason Crosby and Mitch Thundernellis today. They're both out again tomorrow, so you get me tomorrow again with our guy, Tommy Wirtz, who never takes a day off. He is here all the time.
I try. Yeah. Can I give a shout out today, by the way?
Oh, it's a shout out Tuesday?
No. Well, I mean,
okay, go ahead.
Shout out Tim Wong. It's Tim Tuesday. He's a listener, I think in the Milwaukee area for us here on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. And he gave Mitch Nellis a ride to the airport today.
Oh, Mitch was on the air asking for that yesterday, and he got one.
Yes.
Good for you, man.
Yeah.
Power of radio,
So,
man.
shout out Tim.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I know. I mean, he was the nicest guy ever. And Tim just said in the chat here, or the Nicolay Law talking text line, saying, like, got to meet Thunder. Awesome guy.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
He's a great guy.
So shout out to Tim. Just wanted to give a shout out there.
Good job. Shout out Tim Wong. Very good. All right, we're going to change direction here a little bit, and we're going to go to the Milwaukee Brewers. Now, I know. What are we doing about the Brewers? Packers got the Lions on Thursday. The Bucks suck. Why are we talking about the Brewers? Because there was a piece in The Athletic. Jim Bowden, former GM, who was all over Sirius XM Radio, MLB Network. He's everywhere. And he put together a bunch of trade ideas that might make sense for the Brewers. And he says in this piece, Freddie Peralta will earn just a quarter of what he'd be worth on the open market this season. And with the Brewers coming off 97 wins, why not try to give this team one more shot at a title? There is a caveat to the existing plan, however. If some contending team steps up with a trade offer that allows the Brewers to not only maintain their competitiveness for 26, but also help Milwaukee's roster get younger and give the team a better chance to succeed in 27 and beyond, then the Brewers won't be afraid to make the deal.
Really? I look, I really don't understand how these conversations can start happening at this moment the Milwaukee Brewers.
I've got more.
Go ahead.
Jim Bowden. The Brewers have identified young, controllable starting pitching and shortstop as their two biggest areas of need. So look for those areas to be the focus of any trade return discussions.
Need? Did you just say pitching and shortstop? That's their needs?
Pitching, need, controllable, young. Starting pitching.
That is a terrible take from Jim Bowden. I'm sorry if
that's what he says.
It's a terrible take.
They've come to
their entire farm system is shortstops. Their entire farm system is pitching.
He's not saying he's saying that. He says the Brewers have identified young, controllable starting pitching and shortstop, and there's two biggest areas of need. That when he says that means I take it to mean that he talked to somebody over there, and that's what they told him.
I don't know where you can look at the roster construction and organization construction and make that take. I don't see that. I'm sorry, and you know enough about the minor leagues to know that that's completely the opposite of what is actually going on in this organization.
First of all, if they trade Freddie Peralta for a starting pitcher and a shortstop, that's not ready, that is single A or whatever.
Yeah.
If that's the trade,
we're doing an emergency show on here.
Yes.
And we're going to be hovering over the dump button the entire time because it makes
so bad.
What would be the point? And so, like, if they want to get some sort of return for Freddie Peralta, it really feels that a move that would not make it win now worthy is completely off the table to me. Why are you looking at the future otherwise with Freddie Peralta? The $30 million between him and Brandon Woodruff that they're putting together in their top two of the rotation. I know a lot of national media seems to think like, oh, the Brewers are spending $30 million on two players. Like, that's a red flag. But do you not think that there's a part of Mark saying, wow, I got these two guys for $30 million only? Like Zach Wheeler's making 42 now by himself. Yes. So I don't know why they're saying like they have all this money tied up when they know what they have and what you're saying. Like Freddie Peralta could be getting more himself on this. It feels like a steal to have both of these guys at the top of your rotation.
So here's some of what we're talking about. Now, these are deals that Bowden said the Brewers would have to do. If they came, Brewers got to say yes.
Yeah, I see.
Atlanta Braves, they would give up right-handed pitcher J.R. Ritchie And shortstop Alex Slodice, I believe. Richie was the Braves' 22 first-round selection out of high school. Had Tommy John surgery midway through 23.
Great.
Returned in July of 24. In 25, his first full healthy season, 2.64 ERA over 26 starts, spread between 3 minor league levels, including 11 starts in Triple-A. Slodice was the Braves' second-round pick in July out of Florida State. He won the Dick Hauser Award for FSU in 25 after hitting 394, 462, 705 with 17 homers as a junior. With the Brewers wanting to stockpile shortstops to hit for power, he's a perfect fit, I should say. To make this type of offer, the Braves would probably make the deal contingent on the ability to extend Peralta during a time-limited negotiating window.
Again, that deal isn't the worst one on this list. I'll tell you that. But does that feel like enough return to keep him in the NL on top of it too? Like, you're going to talk about sending him over to Atlanta, who's got a rotation right now of Strider and Schwellenbach and Sale, like all a stacked rotation they have over there. And now you're going to give them Freddie Peralta. And in return, you're going to get no one to help you in 2026. I mean, that's just what it is. Like, they're not looking for another pitcher out of Freddie Peralta. They almost have too many pitchers at the big league level.
So that's the thing. As you look through these, the Red Sox, it's 2 pitchers coming back the other way. The Mets, it's a pitcher and Luis Angel Acuna.
Yeah, his brother,
Ronald Acuna's brother, who sucked at the major league level last year.
Suck.
The Yankees giving up Will Warren and Jose Caballero. The shortstop. Will Ward was up at the big league level as well. The Giants giving up a starting pitcher, Landon Roop, and a second baseman shortstop, Johnny Level.
Yeah, no, I think
those are them. Not one third baseman coming back.
No one
deal.
with pop
and
coming back.
If I'm giving up Freddie Peralta, I'm telling you right now, it's got to be for a 20, 25 plus home run guy that can play third base. It has to be that,
with a couple years of control on top of it. Yeah. Like, you let him make a decision. Let him see what's going on with that. I still think that Freddie Peralta, even being discussed as a trade in this part of the season, makes zero sense if the Brewers are not competitive around the deadline. I think it's worth risking it in the beginning, losing a little bit of value if it's going to be only a half season as opposed to a full season rental. But I can't believe that they would say that the target of this trade should be right-hand or, pitching and
young pitching and a shortstop
and a shortstop. Like, they have 4 different shortstops coming up in the organization right now, not to mention the control they have on a guy like Durbin, who could play middle infield, and Terang, who could play middle infield right now. There's no way that all of them are going to play shortstop
unless they're trading Mate
for,
I don't know,
for Pete for who? For Aaron Judge?
I mean, the only way this makes sense is if you're planning to unload a couple of these shortstops somewhere else that we aren't talking about.
I have a feeling that Mate is untouchable, and I think he might be the only one who is untouchable, and that would be exciting to see.
I would guess Cooper Pratt gets moved.
That would be the one to move. Yeah. I think he's the oldest one. Yep. He's closest to the MLB, still a high prospect, and would still carry some value. But he's not going to have the same value as a Jesus Mate or a Luis Pena in that trade offer either. But I still just don't know if the Brewers make a deal for Freddie Peralta that makes them better in 2026. I don't know how that happens unless they are getting an MLB ready 4 year of control, power hitting third baseman. Like, that's the only position I really think this Brewers team would have any value in getting out of Freddie Peralta. And maybe they're going to bring in this middle infield guy and move some people around or wherever it is. But then we're going to be in the same boat of, okay, well, this guy's playing second base and Terang's playing shortstop, but Durbin is your third baseman. And I think we all love what Caleb Durbin can bring on the field. It's just not at the third base position.
Second base or utility. I think that's where we're at, right, with Caleb Durbin. And, one of the guys that got brought up by Ron and Rome was Nato, the shortstop for the Angels, who has years of control left on him, hits around 20 home runs or so a year. That might be a guy that would make sense for the Milwaukee Brewers to go get if they are looking to replace that shortstop position with Joey Ortiz this year.
Here's another thing. If they make this move of Freddie Peralta before the season, does that almost guarantee they're not spending money this offseason?
Well, not necessarily.
Because Freddie Peralta's not the contract to move if you want to free up some money to spend some money. Like, he's not getting paid that much compared to what you could. If that becomes a straw to break the back of this camel.
That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if they trade Freddie Peralta for a young starting pitcher and a young shortstop, and then the blockbuster move is for that home run huge bat, and Made goes and Pena goes and Henderson goes, and they unload 4 or 5 guys to go get the superstar hitter for the middle of the lineup, and Peralta goes in a separate deal to replenish what you just lost. I mean, think about it. The Brewers unloaded their top prospects to go get Zach Greinke. The Brewers unloaded the prospects to go get CC Sabathia. There's not a history of unloading for a bat, but if you put a superstar bat in the middle of this lineup with Churio and Yelich and Contreras and those guys, this offense takes on a dramatically different look going forward.
Right. You need to have a little more fear in the lineup. There wasn't a lot of fear, right? You don't want to pitch to Shohei Ohtani.
There's not a fielder in the middle of the lineup.
Right. You need someone that that just makes the other team want to avoid, right, in this lineup. There's a lot of guys who can put up a lot of competitive at-bats, and their style of play changed in the year because of how aggressive they were all the way up until September. We heard Rob Z bring that up on in the offseason too, that they kind of ran out of gas because of their style of play being so demanding on the body. If you can get a guy that goes a little bit against that grain, who is a little more evergreen with a bat in his hands, like, that's the only deal that makes sense to move on from Freddie Peralta if you want to be competitive in 2026. Otherwise, like, he needs to be a part of this plan. He's a guy who loves being here, knows that he's not going to. They just let Willy Adames walk in the same scenario where, all right, we're going to let him play on the qualifying offer or whatever it is, and then he's going to go from there, and we'll get a nice little supplemental pick. Now, they tried to do that with Woodruff, and Woodruff took the qualifying offer. Also, with the CBA up in the air, like, why rush anything on what your current roster is looking like?
It all depends on whether or not there is, my conspiracy theory that I've said, is whether or not these owners are told at the bottom third to move on up, because they're going to try and get a salary cap floor, and they're going to need all these teams to show that they're willing to spend money in order to negotiate this at the end of the day. I mean, my God, you got the Pirates involved talking about getting Kyle Schwarber. You imagine the bad team tax on that? They're going to have to pay that dude like $50 million a year to go be stuck in Pittsburgh to play for the Pirates going forward. So when we start talking about adding contracts, adding a long-term big money player in a trade where you unload some of your farm system in order to do it, that would be how you increase payroll and get this fan base going nuts.
And they've done
what's their Micah Parsons deal?
Right.
Maybe they make their own Micah Parsons
I don't
deal.
know if they need a Micah Parsons deal, but they've at least teased the idea with, 2-year $34 million Reese Hoskins, 1 year $18 million Yasmani Grandal, right? Like, they've
Brandon Woodruff $22.5 million.
Right. Like, they could put all their eggs into the 2026 basket and not have a lot of. That's another reason why just getting all this control on guys. Like, what do we know about control anymore if the CBA messes everything up too during this process? So going all in on 2026, it starts with keeping Freddie Peralta on your roster. And from this article that we got from Jim Bowden, no one makes the roster better in 2026.
Agreed with you. There he is, Tommy Wirtz. Sparky Fifer in for Mason Crosby. Mitch Thunder Nellis here on the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon. And Matt Arnold, Brewers GM, joined me last year at the 18th annual toy drive. This year, 19th annual toy drive at Blaine's Farm and Fleet in Oak Creek. Benefits go to Children's Wisconsin and Robinson, the foster care arm of Children's Wisconsin. Looking forward to seeing if we can get Matt Arnold out there. I put the request in, so we'll see if we can get him out there. We can ask him some questions. Peter Fagan, GM of the Bucks, trying to work on getting Peter Fagan of the Bucks out there as well at some point next week. And it's going to be a fun week, man. Monday through Friday, we've been doing it, again, year 19. And on Monday and Friday, you'll have the 9 to noon show with John Kuhn and Rami Makloff. On Monday, Rami will be down there. I don't believe John Kuhn will be. Friday, we'll see if John can make it down or not. And then Monday and Friday, also, we have the Mason Crosby show with Mitch Thunder Nellis. They both will be in attendance on Monday. And then on Friday, I think Mason will be back in Tennessee. So it'll just be Mitch on that Friday. And then Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's with myself. I'll be out there all 5 days during the toy drive, collecting toys from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. each and every day, Monday through Friday. if you're a local business and you want to drop off a donation of some toys or whatever the case may be, that would be amazing. We're there all week. So even if you started the toy drive on Monday, by Friday, hopefully you got some toys racked up. You can drop some toys off. Always looking forward to seeing everybody out there. We got a food truck that is going to be out there as well, Monday through Friday from 4 to 6 every day. We got some carols that are going to be being sung on Thursday and Friday afternoon too. So
are you singing? You seem like a carol kind of guy.
I could.
Yeah.
I could. I like singing Christmas carols.
Yeah.
I do like singing Christmas
carols.
Have
you started watching movies?
I didn't stop.
Oh, okay.
We watch them all year.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Saturday nights usually is a Christmas movie.
I just want to find my Christmas, what you have right now. Like, not around a holiday necessarily, but I just want to love something as much as you love.
With that same passion type deal.
Just, I'm going to be down like 10 toys because I don't have some date coming around just donating toys this year. I tried to hook it up for you. Couldn't work itself out. But the toy drive was awesome last year.
Your mom was awesome last year. She donated a lot last year.
Yeah, brought the kids out there too. They had a good time. The toy drive is great, man. I'm excited to get to it for year 2 now with me and year 19 overall.
Correct. If you can't make it there because you're in Wausau or Green Bay or Duluth Superior, you can just go to wisportsradio.com, click on the toy drive page, and you can donate online right there. Plus, there's a text number that you can donate as well. We'll be talking about that all during the week next week too. So looking forward to next week. Should be a lot of fun. Coming up next, extra points. Normally with Mason Crosby. Today you get me, Steve Sparky, Fifer. It's the Mason Crosby Show presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers. Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here.
What's on Mason Crosby's mind today?
Now I'm thinking.
It's time for Extra Points, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on the Mason Crosby Show with Mitch Nellis.
Tell me what's on your mind.
On the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network.
I got some news coming across here in Mason's Extra Points that is a big deal to those that live in Milwaukee or have lived here for a long time. What say you, Tommy Wirtz?
Yeah, per our old friend here, Adam Roberts, breaking without discussion, the Milwaukee Common Council unanimously passes a resolution granting permanent historic designation to the UWM Panther Arena and the Miller High Life Theater. That coming from our guy, Adam Roberts on Twitter.
That is a big damn deal, really, at the end of the day, because that means somebody can't come in there and knock it down. And at this point, you know, a team like the Milwaukee Admirals would probably be in some trouble if that were to happen, because if they're not going to be able to get in at the Fifer Forum, then I don't know what the next option is. I don't know where they would go necessarily if that were to fall through. And the Panthers basketball team too. I mean, that's a cool arena to play in. It's a perfect size. It's the old Mecca for those of you listening across the state where, you know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and all those guys played back in the day. So being able to keep that intact and going forward, I think is a pretty cool deal for sure. All right, coming up tomorrow, back at it again. Tommy Wirtz, what do we got tomorrow?
Tomorrow we got Jeff Rieger, 97-1 the ticket, doing a little eye on the enemy, Packers, Lions.
911 Rieger tomorrow. Looking forward to that. Coming up next, Wisconsin Sports Daily served up by Wendy's. We are going to have Mike Wall, former Packers offensive lineman, joining us at 4 o'clock and talk about the Packers offensive line changes. Enjoy the rest of your day. It's been the Mason Crosby Show, presented by Verizon, the official 5G network of the Green Bay Packers, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.